Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, the story carries on with INEC, their phantom server, Atiku Abubakar, Malam Buhari, Mahmood Yakubu, and rigged elections. So all the major players are still in play. So the latest development, I'm sure you are all already aware, is that the Electoral Tribunal has dismissed Atiku Abubakar's request to access the INEC server, going by the denial that INEC has put in place that they don't have a server. So the tribunal simply said that, okay, if they say they don't have a server, that's the end of the matter. But of course, that is not the end of the matter. So guys, I bring you this. Atiku and PDP appeal to the Supreme Court, insist INEC's server contains results. So that's the headline. Atiku and PDP appeal to the Supreme Court, insisting that INEC's server contains results. So now to the body of the story. The People's Democratic Party and its candidate in the February 23rd elections, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, have kept their vow to appeal the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal's rejection of their request to access the central server, which they allege housed the results of the polls electronically transmitted by the Independent National Electoral Commission during the exercise. A foreground notice of appeal has been filed by the petitioners, urging the Supreme Court to not only set aside the June 24, 2019 decision of the tribunal, but also to grant all their prayers contained in the motion on notice dated and filed before the tribunal on May 8, 2019. So that motion that they are asking the Supreme Court to grant, of course, is that they are allowed to access INEC's server. So we continue. Shortly after the tribunal delivered the said ruling on June 24, 2019, the petitioners had, through two senior members of their legal team, Chief Chris Uche San and Chief Mike Ozokome San, vowed to challenge the tribunal's decision at the Supreme Court. Processes seen by our correspondents on Saturday showed that the petitioners filed their notice of appeal on June 26, 2 days after the tribunal's decision was delivered. The petitioners had, in their motion, which was dismissed by the tribunal, claimed that INEC electronically transmitted the results of the disputed poll to the said central server. INEC denied the claim, insisting it never transmitted the results of the poll to any server whatsoever, but that the results were collated and declared manually. President Buhari and his All Progressive Congress, whose victory at the poll is being challenged by the petitioners at the tribunal, also opposed the petitioners' request for access to the INEC server. So there you have it now. So the battle carries on, and I, for one, am glad that Atiku is pushing this to the very bitter end. But of course, we know that Buhari also controls the Supreme Court, so he's likely to get no joy there. But he's going to push it to the bitter end anyway, because as we always say on this channel, INEC has a server. So also, why is Buhari and his team opposing to Atiku requesting to have access to INEC's server? I thought Buhari was claiming that it's Mr. Integrity and Mr. Transparency, and the election was free and fair, and he won freely and fairly. So anything then that goes on to prove that everything that he's just described is transparency, is integrity, and free and fair, anything that enhances that surely is something that he should support. So if Atiku Abubakar and the PDP are saying that INEC have a server and they want to interrogate it, then surely them, but Buhari as Mr. Integrity and Mr. Transparency should then, of course, lend his weight to that and say, okay, let them have access to your buildings and interrogate all the computers that are there until they find that server. So this is what he should be saying rather than opposing it in court. But of course, Buhari knows that he did not win the election, and of course Buhari is not anything to do with integrity. PDP are still pursuing him, and the whole of the Nigerian state are still pursuing him to declare his assets, but he's not going to declare his asset, is it? Because the whole of the Nigerian central bank is now his personal asset. So how can he declare everything in the central bank when it all belongs to him? It's just like the Saudi royal family, where the state assets belong to them. So this is the goings on that is going on there. So now Atiku Abubakar though is fighting this to the bitter end, and so this battle is not yet over. So the war rather is not over. So these people might get all these little snippets, and there's really very slim chance, very little chance of him getting any real joy from the Supreme Court. This is highly unlikely situation that this will happen, but then let him pursue this anyway to the bitter end, just to really mark and mar this presidency and make it questionable in terms of his legitimacy, because this is really an illegitimate government that we have in place. This is somebody that was appointed by Professor Yakubu and not at all voted for by the will of the Nigerian people, or by the vote of the Nigerian people. So but Buhari, to all intents and purposes, is a Professor Mahmoud Yakubu appointee. So I'm really trying to pull back from describing it as a coup plot, but if you are forcing yourself on people against their will in terms of governance, then there's no other description for it other than that. So the battle carries on. Conversations in the comment section is what I am inviting, but before you come join me in the comment section to have that conversation, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray, bell button, that way you're notified every time I drop a new video. Then come tell me what you're thinking in the comment section. So I'll leave you here, meet you there, but here I say peace.